Well, let's go back to our top story, and that is the implications of today's court judgment removing the Ebonyi State Governor and his deputy from office. And we're now joined by the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Paul Nanaba. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.
What's your reaction to this court judgment?
Well, the judiciary are not empowered to make laws. They interpret the laws. But in interpreting the laws, the judiciary has the power to expound the law. So the courts can expound the law but not expand the law. Those are the differences. Now, if you look at the Constitution, Section 68 1G of the Constitution makes it clear that members of the National Assembly or the State Assembly will lose their seats if they move from the party where they were elected to another party, except if there was a merger or there was factions and all that in the party. And in the case of Ifedayo Sunday, Apegunde, and Ondo State House Assembly, the Supreme Court stated that point clearly, that that will not be state crisis or faction. It must be something that is, and the Supreme Court followed its earlier decisions in Fedeco. You remember Fedeco in the 90s, and Mohammed Goni, Gongola State case, and then Attorney General of Federation and Abubakar. So the Supreme Court has been consistent on that point. So when I had a judgment, fine, that was clean judgment. It's expected, and it is effective primarily on the members of the House of Assembly. That is a sound judgment completely on the members of the House of Assembly, and I expect that yes, there's a right of appeal, but everyone knows that the court was right. You move from the party that elected you, you vacate your seat, and that rascality should be stopped, and that's what the church has just done. Now, with respect to the governor and the deputy, yes, the Constitution has stated the grounds for removal of the governor: death, incapacity, impeachment. Now, this is a novel situation. We've not had a court pronounce on the effect of cross-carpeting by a governor. Now, if you look at Abegunde's case, the Supreme Court said the reason behind that provision of the Constitution is to stem the tide of the fraudulent. The Supreme Court used the fraudulent move. The lead judgment, whatever, just that job. He said fraudulent movement. So when you look at what Justice Eko said today, he said, listen, who owns the vote? It wasn't Omahi that owned the vote. It is the party. So the votes were votes, Faleke and INEC and all that, were votes cast for PDP. So the Omahi and his deputy has no right to change the party that was voted for. So that is a serious point that we intend to see the Superior Courts. But if you ask me, I think the judge was right.
So while we wait, for the appeals, now the PDP has already named a replacement. Is that too soon? What do you see happening?
It's not too soon, because the judgment of a court becomes binding immediately. It's only in this part of the world that we toy with court judgments. Immediately the court handed that judgment, both of them were no longer governors. So 1 minute after, they were already in contempt if they had not left. That's it. So the judgment is it has immediate effect, and what was to happen was that the PDP should, in the next 1 hour or 2 hours, or in the next few minutes, submit. So it wasn't too soon. And Once they have submitted, there were two options. You either submit or INEC, if you see there's a submission, you will accept. And that's it. You close the circle. If it is not, if there was no submission, and if INEC could also say, we're going to do fresh election there.
But what about the appeal? Can the appeal
now,
stop?
There's a right of appeal and a filing application for stay. We should not confuse this with pre-election matters or election matters where there's a time within which to appeal that has a form of automatic stay. There is no stay. Even an appeal does not operate as a stay. Rightly speaking, there's no stay presently. And then from that point, they submit the list. I think INEC should proceed with its statutory duties.
Finally, in perhaps a few seconds, Dave Umahi, Ebonyi State Governor, is saying that he's going to appeal to the NJC. What do you think will come out of that?
I'm not a member of the NJC. I think the judge had decided this case based on what is before him. He could be right or wrong. But looking at our jurisprudence, for the House of Assembly members, this is not the Supreme Court had led the precedent. For the governor and the deputy governor, like I said, it is novel, but it is a commendable decision, a bold step, expounding the law. Looking at precedents in Amici and INEC, Falek and INEC. You remember that when the candidate died in Kogi, the Supreme Court said, no, the vote belongs to the party. Now, why should we continue to allow, look at the spate of movements causing confusion in this political space. It sends a proper warning. It shows the judiciary is still in the proper duty that the Constitution has assigned to them. And I'm sure that from tomorrow, you are not likely to hear what a friend calls jumpology, political jumpology. It will come to an end.
Well, we probably will see some fireworks with this judgment. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Paul Ananaba, for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you.